Hi everyone, my name is Harshi and welcome back to my channel. If you are new to this channel, I am Harshi Baldota and I am a second year law student at GLC Mumbai. Well, this is part 3 of how to prepare for MHCET series. Part 1 was for English, part 2 was for GK, and this is part 3 which is for legal. If you haven't watched part 1 and part 2, I will highly recommend you to go see that. I'll put the links in the description. It will help you to prepare for those sections even better, since I have mentioned everything in that. The strategy, the important topics, the paper pattern, the kind of questions, etc, etc. So if you haven't watched that, I'll recommend you to go see that. Okay, so now legal. How is legal section in MHCET? The legal section in MHCET is kinda easy, not that easy but not that tough too. It's not as tough as CLAT. It is simple since it is mostly divided into two parts. One is fact and principle type of questions, and the other is legal knowledge questions. So how much time should you spend in legal section? Well, the legal section comes for 40 marks, and the time you should be spending to complete the section is around 30 to 35 minutes, not more than that, because you will need to save up time from each section to use it in the logical reasoning section, since it is the toughest section in MHCET and it takes a lot of time. So we'll scrap at least like 5 minutes from each section so that we can get more time for logical section. Okay, so legal section in MHCET is divided into two parts, fact and principle and legal knowledge questions. We'll see first that how to prepare for the first part, as in the fact principle sort of questions. Okay, so what are essentially the fact principle sort of questions? So fact principle questions you will get one principle, then one fact story, which is like an imaginary story with some characters in it, and then you will get 4 options. You have to choose a correct answer on the basis of the legal principle that's mentioned. You don't have to apply your brain other than the legal principle. On the basis of the legal principle, you have to choose the correct answer. So what can come as legal principles? So basically the topics that you need to study for legal section are torts, contracts, criminal law, constitutional law. These 4 topics are like the most important topics that you need to know. So how do you need to know that? Like in torts, you need to know the concepts of strict liability, absolute liability, damages, damages without injury of law, like that. Then in contracts, what do you need to know? You need to know consideration, you need to know offer, when is it an offer, when is it a proposal to offer, when is it acceptance. All of those things you should be knowing, all of those concepts you should be knowing. In constitutional law, you should be knowing what is right to freedom, what is right to not right to freedom, right to expression, right to life, liberty, all of those things. So these are the concepts that you should be knowing, and then there will be a fact story, and on the basis of that fact story you have to choose the options. So what mistake a lot of people do is they choose the answers in fact principle sort of questions. They choose answers which are ethically correct and not legally correct. So there's a wide difference between things that are legally correct and things which are ethically correct. So you need to pay very sharp attention on these things. Second thing, never choose an answer which is very extreme. Say the person, the principle is about kidnapping, and the fact story is about the principle is about say theft, and the fact is that a person has taken a pencil, has robbed a pencil from another person, and then the options are that you should kill that person. So that's a very extreme situation, right? That's a very extreme option answer. So such answers will never be your correct answer. So these are like the heads up for some sort of questions, that never choose answers which are only ethically correct and not legally correct. Never choose answers which are too extreme in nature. Such answers are never correct in real life. So this is how you can prepare for your fact principle sort of questions. It's not very tough, I would say. It's moderate only, but just make sure that you read the principle correctly and you read the facts correctly. Sometimes they confuse you a lot in facts, so make sure that you read that correctly. Other than that, it's an easy section. This was my favorite section because it's where you actually have to apply your mind and you don't have to learn anything. So that was a very fun part about that. But you need to know the concepts of torts, concepts of contracts, concepts of criminal law, etc., etc. Okay, so what is legal knowledge section? So legal knowledge part is generally the questions based on the Constitution of India or the constitutional law. So this part is very, very important. This topic is very important since it can come here also and it can come in GK section also. So I'll recommend you to be very, very thorough with it. So how are the questions going to be formed? So say fundamental rights are contained in which part of the Constitution? Fundamental duties are contained in which part of the Constitution? Who drafted the Constitution of India? How many members were there in the drafting committee? What is the significance of 26 November 1950, etc., etc. Those sort of questions. Then any important amendment, as in like the 42nd amendment. So any important amendment that was that had happened during the course of our freedom struggle or after that, anything like that. Then who was the head of the drafting committee? When was the how many pages is the Constitution of India? All of these questions are like the most prominent questions that can come in the legal knowledge section. Other than that, there can come questions like on the very prominent articles, very prominent sections of India. Say what is the importance of Article 19? What does it contain? And there will be 4 options. It contains secularism, it contains freedom of speech and expression, it contains like provision for marriage or anything like that. So you need to choose the correct answer, which is freedom of speech and expression. So that way, Article 21, Article 14, the golden triangle, then a question like the golden triangle is formed out of which 3 articles of the Indian Constitution. So all of these questions are like the prominent questions in this part, in this topic. So I'll highly recommend you to study this thoroughly, very, very thoroughly. I guess that's it for this video. I tried my best to cover all aspects related to the legal section in MHCET. So if you have any other queries, you can let me know in the comment section below and I'll try my best to address them as soon as possible. Also, if you found this video helpful, I will request you to subscribe to my channel so that I know someone is getting benefited from it, and I know that I should be continue making these videos for you guys for the CLAT preparation and MHCET preparation. So that's it for this video. I will take your leave and good luck.